Welcome back to another video from Nemesis Gear Steampunked Out, doing wands again. And so you can see with this is going to be a Walnut and Padouk, and I kind of did a test ebonizing solution to kind of see what I would like to have done was to get a nice black handle with some bright orange stripes, but the Padouk darkened up enough that there just wasn't a way to do both of those in that way. So I am going to ebonize this. But it's not going to be the black around the orange. It'll be a different part. Um, but this wand went pretty fast, other than the part that I did off screen, where I cut the Padouk at an angle and put a couple of stripes of that into the walnut wood and glued that up. And it's really pretty straightforward. I just cut a few pieces of that and then glue those together and clamp them, and then they have to dry enough to be able to um, turn those on the lathe once the glue joint's nice and strong, especially those diagonals like that. Those hold really well. So we'll get the wand into the round and then work the blade of the wand down to about the size of a fine point Sharpie marker so that they fit into my wand holsters. And we're going to start with that blade and cut off the tenon there, and then we move to the jaw chuck, and that allows me to feed the blade of the wand into the chuck, and I'll have less chatter on the blade. So that way I can work the thinnest part of the wand to be held nice and solid up inside the chuck there, so I don't have a whole lot of unsupported wood sticking out. I've edited out quite a bit of that because it's pretty repetitive, and I've done the same thing on a lot of my other videos. So if you're curious to see how that's done, you can look back at some of the earlier videos. But anyways, so we're just getting that all chucked up there and nice and centered, and then we'll get this handle area kind of worked down to the round. And since I already had it kind of pre-marked, I'm just kind of putting a partial tenon on that temporarily, and then finding the center point between my two orange lines and making sure that those are going to be centered on the grip of the handle as best I can. And then we'll measure from there instead of from the end like we usually do. But once I've got that positioned so that I know those orange stripes are going to be in the middle of the grip, I'll mark that out, and then we'll just go into some wand shaping. Just using a skew to push those lines into the wood a little bit so that I can see them easier when I'm turning. So getting rid of a little extra wood here with a parting tool, not a skew. And then once I have that worked in, I can start doing a gentle curve on the handle. I don't do a lot of really intricate beads and coves with those in the areas where I have multiple woods like that, especially at an angle, because they have a really nice oval shape to them when you turn them, but you really need kind of a smooth transitional, even graduated shape to really show those off. So I am thinking about doing some fancier multi-wood handles and stuff. We'll see how that looks. Um, but yeah, just kind of working that shape in where I want the handle. As you can see, it's going to be kind of a tapered towards the cross guard, where I do the transition between the grip and the blade. And so we're going to do some design work in that. And this walnut works really nice, I think, because it's such a dark wood, and it works really nice with the Padouk, that nice orange wood. So I'm not a huge fan of orange, but a lot of people do like it. And when most of the woods you're working with kind of a yellow or cream color woods all the way down to varying degrees of dark brown, sometimes a reddish brown. Getting some of those specialty colors like Padouk, you get that nice orange or purple heart. It's a really nice purple to it. If the wood itself is already colored, then you don't have to worry about using dyes or anything like that. And I do prefer the natural wood look. So, of course, purple heart is incredibly difficult to get right now, and I only have a few scraps of that left, so I don't know if I'll have a whole lot of Purple Heart videos left until we're able to start getting that back imported again. So anyways, I've got the basic idea of the grip where I want it, and I'm just kind of working that into the blade of the wand itself. And then I'll go in and kind of refine that up a little bit. And now the blade of the wand, it's pretty straight as it sits in here, and I have to do that to make sure the jaws have a good grip on it. But off camera, I do take that over to the belt sander and just kind of refine that shape down to a little bit of a taper, and it just seems to work faster on the belt sander. So you have to be so careful working that thin blade down to a nice taper when you're working on the lathe. So if I get it close to where it needs to be, then I can refine that on the belt sander, and it works really nice. So we're just kind of getting our tenon set up here so that we can leave it supported while we do all of our sanding. And there's a whole bunch of sanding all the way from depending on which part of the wood, 150 to 220 grit, all the way up to 340 grit or 320 grit. And then anytime that I have like that handle is a pretty smooth transition, I try to go back and sand that with the grain as well. And then we'll friction burn our lines in there because I want to keep I like it for the separation for the color, but also because I'm going to be ebonizing those parts, and that keeps the ebonizing solution from leaching up the grains of the wood. So now that I've got that wiped down and kind of pre-burnished a little bit, I'll take this tenon off here. And this one stays nice and centered for me as well. I'm really happy with how those have been working out lately. You can see that just pops right off there. And then we'll do the sanding and clean up on that, and then we move into our ebonizer. And if you haven't seen the other videos, again, this ebonizing solution is just made from putting really fine steel wool in vinegar for a few days until it completely deteriorates and dissolves. And then you just filter all that out. And then if your wood has a lot of tannin in it, then that reacts with the wood and turns it nice and dark. And walnut turns almost black. So now that that's all done, I let it dry, give it a light sand and burnish, and then we're just going to work that linseed oil into the wood. That's my favorite finish is linseed oil, and then it will get a final coat of wood wax. And once it's all waxed and everything, I'll get some final pictures here you'll see momentarily, and we'll put up the final wand. But that's how it turned out. Really nice colors on that. It's a nice shine, lots of great wood grain in there. And here's our final just a product shot there, and you can see how that worked out. So anyways, this video was a rather quick one. It wasn't as complicated to do without doing the wood burning and inlay and stuff that I've done in some of the other wands. But I do enjoy making these. I hope you like watching them. If you did, give me a thumbs up and subscribe, and be sure and check back for more. Thanks for watching.